crime-filled weekend in Portland, and police say they did not have enough officers on the street to respond to an attempted kidnapping call sooner than half an hour.
America, Portland spent years cutting their police budget to make a political point. Now the city's so short on cops that regular citizens just collected 62,000 signatures to raid the city's own climate change fund to hand the money straight to the police department. But here's the twist. The group fighting hardest isn't the police union. It's the ACLU and the Sierra Club, and they're not defending the cops or defending the criminals. They're defending the checking account.
A push to get more police officers on Portland streets. Organizers say there doesn't need to be a new tax to achieve this.
It's a new ballot initiative that could be on the next year's November ballot to take some money used to fight climate change and then hire hundreds of new police officers.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Here's the plain version. Back in 2018, Portland, our good old friends in Portland, the Portland voters approved a clean energy fund. It pulls about $200 million a year for climate programs, you guys. Good intentions, I guess, real money. Meanwhile, Portland Police Bureau shrunk. Right now, they have 812 officers. Back in 2005, they had 1,057. That's not a small dip. That is losing almost a quarter of their entire police force while the city just kind of kept on growing. So a group called Safer Portland gathered 62,000 signatures to force a ballot measure in November. If it passes, the city takes 25% of the Clean Energy Fund, roughly $50 million a year, and actually uses it to hire 400 new officers. I've been doing real estate for a long time, and I know what happens to neighborhoods the second that people stop believing that anybody's coming once something went wrong. Property values absolutely tank and don't wait around for city council to finish debating. People just end up leaving, or they just stop calling in general, or they buy their own camera system and simply just hope for the best, like what's going on in California. Portland is living that right now. And the receipts, my friends, are on tape. Now, here's where it gets a little uncomfortable for the city. On Saturday night, it took Portland police around 30 to 40 minutes to respond to a dozen 911 calls about a man harassing people at a waterfront park. Imagine that. You call and you're like, hey, something's going on over here. And it takes the police 40 minutes. That situation escalated into an attempted grab of a 7-year-old right out of the parents' arms. Officers were so tied up a mile away on a completely different call. Deputy Chief Brian Hughes went on camera and said it flat out. There's no extra officers he can just bring in on moment's notice. So the person who we're calling, you're SOL. Sergeant Aaron Schmetz. Sorry, I went a little German on you. Schmetzkopf. Aaron Schmetz runs the police union, laid out the number that should stop you cold. In 2023, Portland had 9 officers on probation status, meaning that they weren't deployable. Today, that number went from 9 to 97. That's roughly 100 times more officers sitting on the sidelines, while the city tells you that it only lost a couple hundred positions. Portland also went from 5 police precincts down to 3. Aaron Schmetz. Don't worry. I'm not going to do that the whole video. Aaron Schmetz says officers can face 45-minute drive just across the city for a single call. Now, here's a fair point, and I'm going to give it to you straight. Not everybody in Portland wants more cops in the street. A homeless man named Freddie Kirby, told a reporter that he's got PTSD from how the police handled things with him personally. He doesn't think more officers are going to fix it. That is a real perspective from a homeless man who's living in the crisis. I'll also let that sit there. But the same measure that's supposed to fix all this has its own credibility problem. A Portland attorney filed a formal complaint after canvassers who were caught on cell phone video misrepresenting what the measures actually fund, telling people it would speed up mental health responders as well. The Secretary of State office confirms that 90 separate complaints are now under review.
Last week, Portland-based attorney Alan Kessler filed a complaint with the Secretary of State, alleging some canvassers were misinformed, misled voters, and violated election laws.
It's grossly different from what was represented. If the things that people are being told when they sign that petition aren't true, then that's no stopgap.
And it's not just Portland short on cops. Compare it to two cities its own size. El Paso has about 1,000 officers. Oklahoma has 1,100. Both cities have similar or lower violent crime rates than Portland. Portland has 812. That is the gap that the city built when they decided to cut the police, and they thought that that was a responsible move a few years back. Follow the actual sequences here with me. Follow the yellow brick road. The city cut the department. Response times obviously fell. City council orders a study. This was due back in March, just to figure out what hiring 400 officers would even cost. Meanwhile, the actual money is sitting in an untouched fund, in a untouched climate fund that isn't allowed to be touched without a public vote. A climate fund without a public vote, you guys, because the council won't move on it fast enough on their own. So Portland citizens went around to people that they elected and went straight to the ballot box instead, using the only pot of money nobody else was willing to give up. That's not the police department asking nicely. That's regular people deciding that the city's own government wasn't going to be able to fix this on time.
According to the latest FBI data, Portland's police staffing averages are roughly half the national average, with roughly one officer for every 725 Portland residents.
Here's what it actually costs you if you live in Portland, okay? $50 million a year potentially gone from climate rebates and clean air programs that voters specifically approved for a different purpose back in 2018. You guys remember that time. That money doesn't disappear. It just gets pointed to a hole that the city dug itself. And underneath all of it, homelessness in the Tri-County area jumped 61% in just 2 years. 12,000 people. 12,000 people. Now, even with hundreds of millions of dedicated tax dollars already flowing to the problem, and it's still not fixed.
We're the 51st out of 51, so we're including territories now in terms of access to mental health. That is a failure.
It's not just about mental health access. It's about accessibility all around, okay? And drug rehabilitation programs, but that's a whole nother video. That's the same city right now asking voters to raid the climate fund because the police department got hollowed out years ago, and nobody wants to say that out loud. America, Portland spent years telling you defunding the police was about compassion. Now that compassionate move that they were talking about a couple years ago is taking money away from another bullcrap thing, clean air rebates to pay for officers that they let walk out the door in the first place. The ACLU is out here defending climate funds like it's a hostage situation, while a 7-year-old almost got snatched away from their parents on a sidewalk because no freaking cop can get there on time. You don't get to call it progress, then quietly beg the voters to buy it back. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.